Greetings, Mindcrafters, and welcome to another Minecraft discussion on this beautiful day. My name is Kimberly Quinn, and I'm here with little Giovanni. He's taking a snooze next to me under the table in the shade out on the deck, and we are excited, super pumped to have this talk about, just saying thank you. It's a start, but just saying thank you is not enough. Not enough. And I'm talking about the practice of gratitude, and because gratitude is the master key to happiness. And a lot of people, you hear a lot about manifestation these days too. So we're going to roll these all together. And what prompted me to do this episode today is I just got in from the planting on our old whiskey barrels out by the fence posts by the road, and I plant those every year. And then so I did that a little bit ago, and then I kind of got out of my planting phase, and then I got another. I think there's a reason. Maybe it was raining. I don't know. Anyway, so I went out to. I'm a big sunflower fan. I love the mammoth ones. They get to be like 14 feet tall, and I just love them. And so I dumped a bunch of dirt next to each whiskey barrel to just the dirt on the ground to just put a bunch in. And because I just it's pure joy for me. I just love it. And then I just was thinking about the seeds, the sunflower seeds, and how you just plant them in the ground. The sunflowers know what to do, right? I don't need to check them, and it would be weird if I did check them, because then they may not even grow if you pull the dirt off them when they're starting to sprout, right? And they're out where the rain can reach them, obviously, and the sun can shine on them. And so just plant them with full faith, full confidence that the sunflowers know what to do, and they will grow to be big and tall and beautiful and gorgeous, right? And so I've been also working on a actually I got a couple going, but I'm thinking of one in particular. I've got a really fun passion project going on right now. It's just everything I love, just creative, and I go to sleep thinking about it. I wake up thinking about it. And in the summer, even though I got a lot of planning going on for I got a ton of planning stuff for Champlain. I get up really early, and the days are long, so I've got, a little extra time because it's summer and the days are longer and all that. It's not like in the winter when you leave to work and it's dark, and you come home and it's dark and you start to feel like a bat, right? The summers are different. And so I just been so pumped. And so I thought of that because I've been thinking of, I've been listening to a lot of really good podcasts on manifestation. Also, the mastermind group I'm in, Jake, who runs that, is absolutely amazing. Brilliant person who's been talking, and we've had these conversations too about you just go forward full throttle. And it's also important. I was doing another podcast about this. I don't know what, maybe, no, I wasn't. Oh, I think it was just a post about the gratitude itself. You got to feel it. Just saying thank you is a start. Like, to people out in the world, it's super important. That's just basic politeness. It's respectful. Though to actually practice gratitude, it's more than that. And I think those of you who um, listen to my podcast before, you know that I've got a routine with a gratitude journal every single day of my life, and it's on the windowsill, so I have to walk right by it, going out of my bedroom. And so I rarely miss a day. And it's I am grateful for, I am grateful for, I am grateful for, because the neurons need to know what to do. So that repetition is really important. Just like you teach a toddler over and over and over and over again. Okay, so kind of, saying it, and then saying is a start. Again, we're not talking about just being polite. We're out in the world to say thank you to people for whatever they're doing. That's just really important, you know, socially, spiritually, all of it, right? And that's a very good thing to do. Actual gratitude practice, practical, as in enhance your well-being, live your best life, transform into the highest version of yourself. Gratitude needs to be a little more diligent. And so, we've talked about this with Mindcraft, right? Thoughts lead to feelings, which lead to behavior. That is the order. So thinking positive thoughts, grateful thoughts leads to grateful feelings, which then leads to grateful actions. We've also talked about the Tetris effect, which if you haven't, I don't want to bore people who have already heard that, but if you go back to, I just did it sort of recently. I've done it a few times, but the Tetris effect, just briefly, got its name from the video game. But basically, when we do practice gratitude, within about 21 days, which is the average time that a habit will shift and stick, after about 21 days, you'll start to automatically, unconsciously start to look for the good in your day more than what's not going well. And we know that for sure. So because we're training the unconscious mind, step one leads to step two, which is to train the unconscious mind. There's all kinds of crap in the vault that was there from your kids, you little, and the only way that's going to change is to rewire the brain. That's the only way that it's going to change. And Joe Dispenza actually talks about this one. I think it's by the time we're 35, but it's still on its way to happening all before that, because the power of the unconscious mind is incredible. And Freud was the first one to discover that. And no matter what people can say about Sigmund Freud, if again, I've said this before, if you took a poll, stood outside any grocery store in the United States, and polled random people from 4 to 104 and say, can you name one psychologist? There's about a 110% chance that the majority of the people would say Freud, and there's a reason. And I'm not even a huge Freud fan, but some things, you just, as they say, you can't. It's not really a good idea to throw the baby out with the bathwater, because he did discover the power of the unconscious mind, and it is what drives the bus, and there's no question. So then Joe Dispenza talks about the same thing, and so does Wayne Dyer, that about 95%, 95 to 96% of what we do as adults is same thoughts, same feelings, same behavior, just context changes, because we're being driven around by what's in the vault. The unconscious mind drives the bus, no question. And I think it's by about 35 when that's all sort of set. But up until then, it's just that's just building, building, building. So in order to undo that, we've got to really talk about our belief system, right? We got to really work on changing those beliefs. And so here's the thing: thoughts, right? Thoughts lead to feelings. We talked about that. Thoughts are first, feelings second. Thoughts also, when we continue to think them, we're going to stay positive here, because obviously the reverse is also true. When we allow negative thoughts, they become, and they get into our hard drive. And that's why so many of us as adults, we don't always understand why we're drawn to the same toxic relationships, or we're drawn to the same, maybe not even to that level, but just people not treating us the best, is because we've allowed so much negative dialogue to just keep going, roll like a hamster in a wheel. And so it's no big surprise when we put that energy out there, and then people give that back to us, because their energy is reading our energy, and that's why we continue to not be treated well. So until we make these changes on the inside in the hard drive, there's nothing going to change on the outside. You might break up with that one, and another one's going to show up wearing a different outfit. It's just how it is. So it's also true when we rewire the brain for the positive, because thoughts, when they're repeated over and over and over and over again, we're going to stay with the positive this time. We eventually start to believe them, just like we talked about with the negative ones. So thoughts, when they grow up, become beliefs, and that is the next phase, to really believe that really truly believe that you are able to do this and able to do that, to really be able to know, to believe first that your passion project, talking about the thing I'm working on, is a really good chance of being successful, and define that however you want. I'm just having a ball. And then the next biggest step, if when the manifestors out there, when they talk about the asking part, and then you kind of get stuff into play, and you get yourself in this place of allowing. Allowing is a big word, and then into receiving, right? In order to really, really, really receive those, just like the thoughts when they grow up turn into beliefs, the beliefs when they grow up turn into a sense of knowing. You really, really know what it feels like to feel grateful for the something you don't even have yet. And stay with me here, because this is a thing. Because this is how we train the brain. When the brain thinks it already has it, it doesn't really know the difference. When the brain thinks it already has it, it does not know the difference. I was listening to a podcast, because I listen to a lot of the same ones. A lot of us do that. And I also listen to new ones when people send them to me. And actually, my friend in the Mastermind Club sent me one of an entrepreneur. She's wonderfully successful, and it wasn't about the money. She was actually talking about self-value, and she was talking about all these. She is very wealthy and very successful, and she's self-made. which always impresses me more. But her whole thing was what we're talking about here is knowing your own value, because you can't do anything in this world well without knowing your own value. I mean, that is the foundation for everything in life, is to know our own value. That's we can't love a self we don't value. We can't take care of a self we don't value, and it's difficult to be in a relationship with somebody when we don't value ourselves either. Because if we don't value us, we can't value them, and that's a cluster. You know what? So she was all about the value, but she also talked about this sense of knowing, and this gratitude thing, just actually getting into this headspace, this visualization, and actually, and Joe Dispenza would say this too, to actually talk to your, because your body, the mind and body are connected. It sounds very cliche, but it's so super real. The body has an intelligence of its own. So the body, language of the mind, right, is thoughts. The language of the body is feelings. So actually feeling grateful for this something you don't yet have, but you know you're capable of, and it's coming. Like it's kind of like Abraham Hicks says it also. We're being done right now. And Wayne Dyer says it. Just know, just believe that you've already got it. You're just kind of going through the motions right now, and allow your life to unfold exactly how it is. And then this entrepreneur says, like, it just happened, this amount of money, or goal with the business, whatever it was. And she said, it was exciting, yes. And she said, on some days, she said, this was the funniest line. She said, it just felt like Tuesday, because she had been believing the entire time, all the way along, that this was all going to come to fruition. It was all going to happen. The business was going to be successful. She was going to hit this X dollar mark, which was huge. And she did. And again, I don't want to make her sound like Shallow Hal, because though very wealthy, she was all about what's underneath it that gets you there. Again, mainly self value, and practicing gratitude, and also being generous. And so, really, the gratitude practice has to evolve from saying the words I'm grateful for, writing the words I'm grateful for, and then talking to the body and body's language, which is feeling, and actually feeling gratitude, feeling also the breadcrumbs. I'm big on the breadcrumbs. All the little, whatever business, or you're writing a children's book, or whatever it is, to celebrate and be grateful for all the little, even if it's just a phone call or an idea, to express gratitude for all the little steps, all the little breadcrumbs along the way, which that entrepreneur did too. Every little itty bitty step, a conversation, an aha moment. Because when we're celebrating those little breadcrumbs, then the brain is understanding, okay, this is what we like. We like more of this. Here's the good feels. Okay, now I know what to look for. More good feels. I know what to look for. And the universe is paying attention too, because the universe is not going to send you more abundance if you're not grateful, if you can't handle what you already have. Gratitude is the master key to happiness, and it's a vibration. And remember, my doctorate's in cognitive psychology, so I'm not trying to be touchy feely. It's neurological. We can see brain changes on fMRIs, right? That's a functional fMRI. Sorry, functional MRI, which tracks brain activity, and the molecules that are the most active consume oxygen. So it's basically chasing around heat, sort of, kind of, and we can see brain changes. When people are attempting, or are not attempting, are rewiring their brain, and this takes. Like anything else, first of all, awareness. You got to figure out that things are or are not working for you anymore, where you want to make changes in certain areas. Then you've got to commit to it, and then you've got to follow through, just like a good parent. And so the gratitude thing, remember, is not just it's think martial arts or something. It's not just thank you. I mean, that's a start. You've got to actually make it a lifestyle, and I definitely do. I'm out there, hands up in the air, in the woods, and I have a whole routine, and all day long I talk out loud. I don't care who's listening, and then the part is to get quiet, the part where the visualization comes in, and Michael Phelps is talking about this, the whole visualizing thing, but feeling, not just like you're watching a drive-in movie theater behind your forehead. That's where it starts, definitely where it starts. But also to take that visual and incorporate what it feels like to win the gold medal, incorporate what it feels like to get that book offer, incorporate what it feels like to get offered that dream job. You've actually got to train the brain to be ready. So then, as her name is Brooke, like Brooke says, when it finally happens, you're full of gratitude and you're jumping up and down, and party still feels like it's just Tuesday. Okay, so this is a super good place to wind up, and it all came out of planting my sunflowers in these old whiskey barrels out in the front yard, and actually next to the whiskey barrels in my front yard, and thinking about those seeds and how the sunflowers know what to do. It's just a process. Well, picture, whatever you're doing in your life, you're planting seeds. You don't need to lift up the dirt to check on them. Just go forward and be grateful for every day that the sun's shining on them and it's raining on them. You know they're growing. Stick with the knowing, and feel grateful for, before those sunflowers pop up, feel grateful for that they are on their way and they will pop up. Just know what it feels like when they bust through the ground and then they become 14 feet tall. Translate into it, that whatever it is that you're working on, just realize, to focus on the knowing and let your life unfold, because it's all going to happen, and picture what it's going to feel like when it does. This is Kimberly Quinn signing off from beautiful northern Vermont on my back deck with little Giovanni. Have a mindful day.